Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to break down the really radical, kind of game-changing business ideas from Yvon Chouinard, the founder of Patagonia. This all comes from his book, Let My People Go Surfing. And let me tell you, this is not your typical business school textbook. It's more like a manual for a revolution.
And that's how he kicks things off. I mean, right from the jump, Chouinard basically disowns the very title of businessman. He sees the traditional way of doing business as an enemy of nature, a system that just takes and poisons the earth. So that really sets the stage for a totally different way of thinking.
So he doesn't even see Patagonia as just another company. He frames it as an experiment to see if a business can actually do good. Can it challenge this broken model of just endless, destructive growth? And can it plan to be around for the next 100 years, not just scrambling for profits next quarter?
All right, so let's get into it. Part 1. The Reluctant Businessman, and that leads us right into their first core philosophy. Part 2, Making the Best Product. This is the absolute cornerstone of a business that's built to last.
But here's the key. Their idea of best isn't about being fancy or fashionable. It's not about being the most expensive shirt in the store. For them, quality is objective. It's something you can define and measure against a super strict set of criteria.
Every single product designer at Patagonia basically has to defend their creation against this checklist. Is it functional, above all else? Can you use it for more than one thing? Is it going to last for years and years? It's not about chasing trends. It's about building gear that actually works and solves a real problem.
And this whole surfboard story is the perfect example. Chouinard went to his own son, who's a surfboard shaper, and challenged him to build a better board. But not a lighter, flashier board for the pros that breaks after a few sessions. He wanted one that just wouldn't break. By changing the definition of quality to mean durability, they totally flipped the script on that industry.
And this philosophy extends out to us, to the people buying their stuff. The real goal isn't just to make the best product, but to encourage a whole different mindset, where we buy less, but what we do buy is way, way better, right? One awesome, durable jacket is so much better than 3 cheap ones that'll fall apart. Okay, now we're getting into the really radical stuff. The second philosophy, Part 3. No unnecessary harm. Taking responsibility for what you make. So they started looking into their own supply chain. And what they found was, well, it was shocking. Cotton, which we all think of as this clean, natural fiber, right? It was one of their main materials. And it turns out, growing it conventionally was responsible for a staggering 25% of all the insecticide used in the entire world each year. Just think about that.
So what did they do? They took a huge, huge risk. In 1994, they decided they were going to switch their entire sportswear line to 100% organic cotton, and they gave themselves just 2 years to do it. It was way more expensive, much harder to get, and honestly, it could have bankrupted the company. But they did it because it was the right thing to do.
And their vision doesn't even stop there. The ultimate dream is what they call cradle to cradle. The idea is to create this perfect closed loop where you can take a jacket you've worn for a decade, send it back, and they can melt it down and literally remake it into a brand new product. No waste at all. Of course, this value-driven way of thinking, it doesn't just apply to materials. It applies to their most important resource, their people. Which brings us to Part 4. Let people surf. It's all about how your values shape your culture. This is the famous policy that the book gets its name from. And look, it's not about being lazy or slacking off. It's a flex time policy that is built on a foundation of total trust. If the surf is up, you go surf. If there's fresh powder, you go ski. As long as your work gets done, the company trusts you to live your life. And this policy, it really gets at a much deeper idea. It's about erasing that artificial line we all draw between our work and our play. The thinking is, if you hire people who are truly passionate about what they do, their work just becomes another way for them to pursue that passion. Now, to make a culture like that actually work, you have to hire very specific kinds of people. Patagonia is famous for seeking out what they call dirt bags, people who just live and breathe the outdoors. They hire for passion, for independence, for people who aren't afraid to question a bad idea. They'd much rather take a risk on a dedicated rock climber than a conventional MBA. And finally, all of these philosophies, they all come together to completely redefine the purpose of the business itself. Part 5, Beyond the Bottom Line, and using business to inspire solutions. Chouinard argues that profit shouldn't be the goal. Profit is just the result. It's what happens when you get everything else right. It's like a vote of confidence from your customers. And having that financial success, well, that gives you the credibility and the cash to go out and tackle even bigger problems. As he says, without that success, you're not eccentric. You're just crazy. This whole belief led them to create what they call a self-imposed Earth tax. Through their 1% for the Planet Alliance, they donate 1% of their total sales, not their profits, which can be fudged, but 1% right off the top, to grassroots environmental groups. And let's be super clear, this isn't charity in their eyes. They see it as a legitimate cost of doing business. It's a payment for using the planet's resources. You could even call it an insurance policy for all of our futures. Because, well, at the end of the day, there's no business to be done on a dead planet. So the Patagonia experiment, with its intense focus on quality, on responsibility, on purpose, it doesn't just challenge other clothing companies. It challenges the very foundation of modern capitalism. And it really leaves us with this huge question. Is this just some charming one-off anomaly, or is this a real blueprint for the future of business? Chouinard closes his book with this idea from Gandhi, and it's just the perfect way to look at his entire life's work. Patagonia isn't just selling jackets. It's selling a living, breathing, profitable example of a different way to do things. And in doing that, it's asking every single one of us, what change will you be?